Hey guys, Preacher 357 here. I'm out here in the shop because I have a gun that I just picked up that I want to take a close look at because I'm very interested in what this model is, and that's the Smith and Wesson Equalizer that they have just come out with. And it's very obviously built on their EZ platform. And so I'm kind of wondering, what the deal is with this gun. Why come out with this gun as opposed to the EZ9 that they already had? So I'm not sure what the purpose of the gun is. I've seen that it's gotten some good reviews. I haven't actually watched any of the reviews, so I don't know anything about this gun at this point. And so I want to take a close-up look and do some comparison. I don't have an EZ9, but I do have the EZ380, and they're very, very similar. They were almost exactly the same size. There's a few differences between the EZ9 and the EZ380, but it should do for comparative purposes. So I want to get over on the cleaning table and get a close-up look at the two and really see what Smith and Wesson is bringing to the market with this new offering that's different than what they already had. And I'm interested to see myself. I love Smith and Wesson products generally. I've been a little bit disappointed in some of the things that they've come out with this year, which I really thought I would love. I thought I would love that CSX, didn't really like it. Thought I would love a 10mm M&P and just wasn't blown away with that either. So maybe this time they've actually got something that I love, and I want to find out. So we're going to start out just doing an unboxing and a comparative look at this gun first, and then we'll also do a range review later on with it as well. Before we do that though, I want to tell you to look at the description and the video, because there'll be a link there for the GOA, the Gun Owners of America, where you can join up at a discounted membership rate. You can get in the fight and help us with our gun rights here in the United States of America, that we're still fighting to secure more rights that we don't have. Now, we're one of the most free countries in the world when it comes to guns, obviously, but there's more work that still needs to be done. And also there's a link there for the TFA, the Tennessee Firearms Association, where we're fighting for our gun rights here in the state of Tennessee. They do great work. If you live in this great state like I do, I would urge you, I would beg you, I would plead with you, join the TFA as well and help us secure our rights here in the state of Tennessee. So let's get over here to the cleaning table and actually take a close-up look at this gun. All right, guys, we have the box here with the shield. Well, actually, it's not a shield, I guess. It doesn't say shield on it, I don't believe. It just says Equalizer. So the previous models were Shield EZ models. This one is just called an Equalizer, 9mm. So we have the Equalizer in the box here. I also have my 380 EZ here for comparison. Don't have the EZ9, but I do have the 380 EZ here. And so let's just open this box up and take a look. Now, obviously, what we've got here, we got the gun in a wrapper. We've got two magazines, but I believe there's another one in here as well. In this little place right here. I can get this out. That is a speed loader, a magazine loader, an up-lula, a mag-lula, and that's pretty nice. That is pretty nice for them to give you one of these. Here's one that I've had for years. You can see they're identical here. This is a genuine mag-lula here, and they're giving you one of those in with this gun, and that is a nice addition. Now, some brands like Glock will give you a magazine loader, but the Glock magazine loaders are trash. I hate those things. But these are the real deal. These are nice magazine loaders. So them including that is a big plus. I love these. And I think is there another magazine in here? Well, I thought I had another magazine in here. Is it in the gun, maybe? No. Yes, I've got it in the gun in here. So there are 3 magazines. I'll put the box to the side. There are 3 magazines that come with this gun. You have this flush fit right here, which is a 10-round magazine, and you can see by the design of these magazines, these are these stack and a half magazines that go down to a single stack at the top, much like what you see with the SIG P365s and with the the different versions that have come out, the Springfield models, and everybody has one of these guns now. And so this is a 10+1 9mm magazine. Then you also have this one that has this extended base plate on it. That's a 13 round. And then you have another with an even larger extended base plate. That is a 15 round. So this gun gives you a lot more capacity than the Shield EZs did. And I believe they only came with, well, I say they came with 2 magazines. I'll have to research that because I don't remember for sure. I believe that my 380 only came with 2 magazines. And this is the style of magazine that came with the EZ models. This is the 380, obviously. It was a slightly bigger one for the 9mm for the 9EZ. But it was basically the same type with these tabs on the side that you could push down because it was designed to make it very easy to load the magazines. And so they did this so that people who didn't have a lot of strength in their hands could load the magazine easily. And however, by making it a single stack, there were only 8 rounds in this magazine, and the 9 was the same. It was 8 rounds was all you had in the magazine. But you gave up capacity for ease of loading. And I guess what they decided to do is rather than do that, was to come out with a higher capacity magazine and then give you a magazine loader that would make it easy to load with. So I like that. Good job, Smith and Wesson. I think that was a good play. I think that's an upgrade. I think that was a good decision on their part to go that direction. So let's get this chamber flag out. We obviously don't need that. The weapon is clear. I have no 9mm over here whatsoever, or 380. There's none right here. So I'm not going to accidentally load one up. But there you can see the Equalizer versus the EZ model here. And first thing I notice is this grip is shorter. Let's look at that. Side to side, you can see you've got about a ½ inch difference. And that's exactly what Smith and Wesson says on the numbers they post on their website. I believe the 9EZ was 5.05 inches in length, whereas this one was 4.5, so about ½ inch shorter. So you have a shorter grip, which is easier to conceal, easier to carry, that holds 2 more rounds in a flush magazine. So you have less length, but more rounds. And then you can go with the 13 round magazine and you have a gun that's very, very similar in length to the EZ. You can see there, not much difference at all between these two guns when you have that extended mag in here. So you have 8+1 in an EZ with a flush fit magazine, and for the same length, you have 13+1 in the Equalizer. So already we're off to a good start. Smith and Wesson has done something that I approve of. Now, obviously, I'm not going to know for sure until we get to the point where I'm shooting the gun whether I really love the gun or not, but I like what I'm seeing so far. Now, there are some styling differences that you see here right off the bat. You see the pattern on the grip, the checkering here, the grip texture, whatever you want to call it here, is different than this. This has more of the styling of the 2.0 series. However, the EZ series never had as aggressive a texturing as the other 2.0s. I mean, it's not completely slick, it's usable, but it's not aggressive at all. Whereas with the Equalizer, it's a little different pattern, but it's a finer grit to it. It's not, I don't think it's as aggressive as like the 2.0 M&Ps, but it is a aggressive grip compared to this one. And it sticks in your hand fairly well. I do like it. It's comfortable, yet still has some grip to it. So I see that as an improvement as well, and I think it looks good. I really like that styling they have on this. It looks nice. Now, obviously, the other difference is we see some differences here in the slide, in the serrations. And these wavy serrations you had on on the Shield EZ were functional. Had the lip at the back here, that raised section, the ears, some people call them, that you could grab hold of that made it easy to pull. And then it had these little tiny serrations on the front, which were, they were usable for press checks. Not extremely practical though. More just a thing for looks, I think, than anything else. But on the Equalizer here, it appears they have decided to go with a Beretta sort of look, because this kind of reminds me of those Berettas that they came out with in the APX series that kind of had serration sort of like this. But they are usable. I mean, they're not aggressive feeling, but you do get a grip on them. And it's an easy grip, and it does have the ears at the back still. And it's not hard to rack. I'm not going to say it's as easy as the EZ, as the 380 especially. It seems to have a little bit more resistance than the EZ. That may just be because this is a 9mm and that's the 380. But it's still very easy. Now, obviously, this one has the plates to attach optics here, whereas the 380 EZ here did not. But that brings us to some other differences here. The sights are slightly different. Now, obviously, they had to go with a different sight because of the plate here. But they have a very similar two-dot system here. They look a little different, but, you know, practically there's not much difference. The front sight, not much difference, a white dot. This one is dovetailed in the front, whereas the 380 EZ was just pinned in from underneath like a Glock. However, the EZ, the 9EZ, actually had a dovetail as well, so that's not really a change. One thing you do see that's different here, you see this extractor that was on top, which was always something different about the EZ models. They had an extractor on the top rather than the side. All right, guys, I'm going to pause the video at this point to just clarify something here and correct something I've just said. That is not an extractor. I committed the ultimate sin of assuming I knew something when I didn't know it. It looked like an extractor to me. I'd always just assumed it was an extractor. I believe even in the video I did on the EZ380, I called it an extractor, and I never really looked into it to see if that's actually what it was. And as you can see from the diagram from the owner's manual, which clearly I didn't read, it is not an extractor. It is actually the world's largest, most gaudy loaded chamber indicator. I don't know why you would need a loaded chamber indicator this gigantic on a gun, but that's what that is on the top, and the Equalizer clearly does not have that, whereas the EZs did have that on there. You'll see a little bit later as I continue calling this thing an extractor, I noticed at one point that the EZ380 actually has an extractor, and then I realized I've made an error. I think if you listen really closely, you might even hear my brain explode at that point when I realize I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I just wanted to clarify that at this point. It is not an extractor on top. That is just a loaded chamber indicator. Now let's continue on with the video. However, I don't see that on this one. Now, obviously, you couldn't have it because of this plate either. But I'm not really even sure where the extractor is on this. So that's something, when we pull the gun apart, we're going to have to look at to see if we can, because I can't tell. It doesn't have, looks like maybe the extractor's on the side, but it doesn't have the clear extractor, you know, right there sticking out like most guns do. Most of these polymer frame pistols do. So it looks like maybe it's some sort of internal extractor, more like maybe a 1911 or something. I don't know. We'll have to pull the gun apart and check that out, because I'm not really sure. But you can see those differences there. And so far, I'm impressed. I like what I'm seeing. The other thing you see is the width is almost identical. Almost identical between the 380 here and the 9mm, and that's because the EZ3, the 9EZ and the 380 EZ, I'll get it out in a minute here, were almost identical as well. And by Smith and Wesson specifications, I think both the Equalizer and the 9EZ or EZ9 or whatever they call it, were 1.04, so they were identical dimension-wise, except for the grip length. Whereas this one was 4.5, the EZ was 5.05. But the other dimensions are the same between the Equalizer and the 9EZ. So we're going to have to pull them apart now to learn any more. So why don't we do that right now? Just lock the slide back, pull them apart. This one should break down the exact same way. You get it locked back. Let it go forward, make sure the grip, there we go. They do break down identically. So now we can look at the frames. Hammer fired, you see that immediately. And actually a smaller hammer than what you see on the 380 here. I guess it really makes much difference, but it is a little bit smaller surface area on the hammer. But other than that, they look pretty much identical. I'm not seeing any real differences between the two. The frames look pretty much the same. Now obviously this one, my 380 does not have a thumb safety, whereas this model does. They make one without the thumb safety as well, so whether you want one or don't want one, you have the option either way with both the EZs and with the Equalizer here. This one has the thumb safety, whereas this one doesn't, but beyond that, they look pretty much identical. Not a lot of difference at all. All right, well, let's take a look at the slides then. All right. What do we see? Well, a little bit of difference there. Slight difference in length here, but I think that has to do as much with the difference between a 380 and the 9mm. We got a different recoil spring, but that's also to be expected because your 9mm is going to require a stronger recoil spring. And you definitely seem to have one here. But that's probably more like the 9EZ, so I don't think that's really much of a change. But I do see a little bit of difference here in the barrels. Now obviously the barrel on the 9mm is a thicker barrel to deal with the higher pressure. But there is it seems to be a little bit more difference there in the design of the lugs on it. So maybe a small change there with regard to these two guns. Not a whole lot, but let's take a look. Yep. Yeah, the extractor is definitely just on the side here. Of course, it looks like the extractor on the 380s, he's also got one on the side as well, doesn't it? A little claw on the side, but there's only one on the side on this one, not one on the top at all. So it's an internal extractor in that sense. It's not external on the Equalizer, which is not a big deal as long as you don't break it. Obviously, you break it, then you've got to get in there and get it out. There looks like to be like a section here of that's a separate piece, which is definitely something different looking. That comes out somehow or another. That's how you access the extractor. Not really sure, but very simple design, it seems, on the inside here. We've got a firing pin block right there on both of them, it looks like. I'm assuming that's activated by, activated by the grip safety. Yep. So they're identical in that regard. So a little bit of difference, but essentially this is an EZ with higher capacity, with a shorter grip that Has some different texturing on the grip. Has some different serrations on the slide. And I like what I see so far. We'll put it that way. I'm impressed. This looks like a nice gun. And this may be one that I actually don't want to get rid of. The last two Smith and Wessons I bought, as far as their semi-auto new manufactured guns, I've gotten rid of. I haven't kept them. They haven't impressed me enough to want to have them in my collection. But at the moment, this may be a gun that I decide to keep. But it's all going to come down to the range. It's all going to come down to how well I shoot it. Because last year when I tried to do a video with this gun, I made two different videos. The first one I shot so poorly that I made another video. And because it was just so bad, I didn't even want to publish the first one. And I even struggled to shoot in the second one. And I don't know why, because I'd always felt like I shot this gun fairly well. But I had a lot of trouble in the last year when I was shooting that gun. So I'm hoping that's not the case with the Equalizer. I'm hoping that it just really knocks my socks off, and I'm really impressed with it. So we'll have to see once we get out on the range. So guys, I appreciate you coming out. God bless you. Y'all take care of yourselves. I ask you one more time to like and subscribe. I'm still on a push. By the end of the year, I want to get to that monetization level, and I'm doing really well. I've been really pleased with the progress I'm making, but I still have a few more subscribers to go. My watch hours are looking good, but I need some more subscribers. So if you would like, subscribe, maybe even throw me a comment and tell me what you think. I'm always looking for constructive criticism. Now, if you just want to be, mean to me, that's another matter altogether. If you just want to be a smart aleck, that's another matter altogether. But I'm always willing to entertain constructive criticism. So like, subscribe, throw me a comment. Guys, I appreciate you coming out. God bless you. Y'all take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time.